Welcome back to Sports Nerds in the Morning. Happy spring break almost to all you CCA, SDU, HSD students out there. Anyone else going into spring break? We're almost there. Seniors, last stretch. We're about to do it. Before we get into our baseball topic for the day, I want to give a quick eulogy to the short-lived San Diego Fleet. You gave it a hell of a run. You put your hearts out on that field. You went 3-5. You proved that San Diego really is not a football city. The AAF folding this soon into their very short-lived life. What do you guys think about that? I mean, to me, it's just comical.
I mean, look, if they're getting help, I don't get it because they're getting help from the NFL.
They were getting quote-unquote help from the NFL. The NFL really wasn't doing much.
I know. I mean, like, bottom line, there just aren't enough talented football players to have a developmental league.
Right.
That-
I mean,
that's true.
there's that, plus the fact that they're trying. You know, everyone was like, "Oh, it starts after the Super Bowl. There's not going to be much of a conflict. People will watch it." But baseball's starting, basketball season's going on, March Madness happening.
Right.
You got the NHL season beginning to get into playoff mode. There's too many good professional, high-quality athletes playing sports for people to watch the AAF.
Yeah.
I completely agree. There was no. It's also like it's great that they were trying to get non-football cities into
Right.
it, San Diego, Memphis, whatever. But you're not going to create a huge market. WNBA games, we're getting more viewers per game, averaging more viewers per game than AF games.
Right.
That's not good if the NFL is letting you broadcast on their network. It's just not.
Correct.
So it was a great idea. I loved what they were trying to do, and it wasn't even poorly executed. They tried.
Right.
It just proves that there's only room for one professional football league. There's
Right.
53 guys on a football roster, but like Jake said, there's not enough talented guys to go around. So
The XFL, the XFL is doomed from the start. Seriously.
exactly,
I give them 3 weeks.
I could not agree with you more. XFL will not succeed again. I mean, it was a travesty the first time. But hey, they brought football back to San Diego for
That's
all
true.
of about 60 days.
Yep.
It's all good.
Hey, in like 20 years, that merchandise is going to be worth a lot.
True.
Hold
Yeah.
on to it.
Our good friend Dom's got his Fleet hat. That'll be a relic in a little bit. Anyway, on to some real professional sports. Baseball season has kicked off. It feels so good to finally have baseball back
In America,
not spring
not
training.
Japan.
Baseball back in America, not Japan, and Canada. Can't forget about Canada. But baseball back, not spring training, the real stuff. It's beautiful weather. I mean, especially for us San Diego fans to have been watching Padres baseball. So let's lead in with our hometown team through 7 days. Elon, what have you thought about this Padres team through 7?
I mean, there's nothing better than baseball in April, you know, except for maybe baseball in June or
October.
But it's super exciting to get into this baseball season, especially as a Padres fan. They got Manny Machado. It's the most packed I've ever seen Petco Park. I'm used to going to Padres games and, you know, seeing 22,000 people filling up the 45,000 seat stadium. But I went Sunday, their military home opener. Literally every seat in the house was full. Manny Machado coming up to bat. The whole stadium's going, Manny, Manny. And it's a totally new feel for the Padres.
Yeah, I can attest to that too. I went opening day, and look, opening day every year sells out because it's opening day. So of course it's gonna sell
Right.
out. People want to go out. I have never seen the atmosphere like this though. The belief.
Right.
Usually it's hopefully we don't lose this opening day too badly.
Right.
And then they let up 5 runs in the first inning. And it's like, all right, here we
Exactly.
go again. Classic Padres. It's still fun to be here. This time, excitement from the start to finish. Tatis steps up to the plate. Excitement. Machado. Excitement. Kinsler. Excitement.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who it is. Throughout the lineup, Padres fans are actually excited. Pitching. Actually on point. So, obviously, it's through 7 games. We had a wake-up call. I think after the Giants series, a lot of Padres fans were like, oh,
Right.
maybe they will make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I fell into that trap too.
Yep.
Then the D-backs woke us up and said, okay, this is still the same Padres team that we thought it was going into this season.
Exactly.
They're a team that is hopefully going to go 500. And I'm happy with that.
Right.
Because that's the improvement we need going forward.
Correct.
Tatis isn't going to be a superstar immediately. He could win Rookie of the Year. He's been playing great.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's had some struggles. His batting average is not like some ridiculous number, but he has a home run. He's been outstanding defensively. On the
Absolutely.
base paths, he's a fiend. The team looks good.
Yeah.
The team looks really good, and I've been excited through these first 7, 4, and 3. I'm hoping for 500. Anything above that would exceed my expectations, and I really think that this is a better team.
Yeah.
And Jake, I know you feel the same way.
Yeah, 500 would be excellent because I know last year when we went out and signed Hosmer, obviously it's not Machado and like Tatis coming up as well, but we expected some sort of improvement, and we just did not get that. We regressed. We lost nearly 100 games. It was absolutely pathetic. This time around, excuse me. This time around, I want to see some substantial improvement. We talked about on a previous podcast after we signed Manny that we weren't expecting playoff contention this year, but improvement will be nice, and I really do see that improvement. We're hitting. I love the young pitchers in our rotation. Lucchese, Paddock. I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name who starts with an N.
Margevicius.
There we go.
Margevicius.
And I haven't been to a game yet this year, so I can't attest to the atmosphere, but the first time in a while, feels good to be a Padres fan.
Could not agree with you more. It's just, it's finally not the mentality of, can we just please not lose this game by 5 runs?
Right.
That's how I went to every Padres game, was if we get a win, wow, we got a win.
Right.
But
Yeah.
every Padres game I go to, it's, can we please not like blow 3 in the first inning? Can it be exciting for a little bit? Every game I go to this year, I think we're actually in contention.
I agree.
And it's our pitching. Obviously our pitching needs improvement. We have a bunch of young guys. We don't have any established veterans.
Right.
Garrett Richards obviously will have next year, and we'll see how he comes back from surgery. But this year, so far, it's just been a bunch of young pitchers who have been good, but they're going to be streaky.
For sure. The Padres have the youngest average age in their rotation in the entire MLB at 24.
Wow.
That's super young.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Joey Lucchese's 25. I think Eric Lauer's 23.
Paddock's young.
Paddock's 22. I think Margevicius is 21. It's a super young rotation that's gonna have a learning curve.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Margevicius came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is the guy
Look,
he played single A. They brought him to spring training. He just pitched and pitched and pitched
Yeah.
and didn't stop pitching.
to be fair, listen, obviously I want the guy to succeed, but it was the Giants.
It was
Like,
the
it
Giants.
was the Giants. The Giants suck. We all know this.
And we'll see in his next start.
The Giants outfield, fact of the day, the Giants outfield has less home runs combined than Madison Bumgarner in his career.
What?
That's our fact of the day. The Giants.
Who's your starting
In
outfield right now?
career, the Giants.
The Giants starting outfield on opening day, career-wise, consistent of
Connor Joe,
Steven Duggar, and I don't remember who the third outfielder was. For good reason, probably. But their combined career home runs is less than Madison Bumgarner's career. I know Connor Joe made his debut this season.
Yeah, I was sitting
That's
behind.
still
I
really
was
funny.
sitting behind a couple of his childhood friends. There's some Padres fans that are giving him some heckling on opening day. It was fun stuff.
That's fine.
But no, I agree with you. It's a young rotation. I think going forward, again, we're talking about improvement this year. In the long run, you're not gonna win unless you bring in like the Cubs did a John Lester. We need an established veteran pitcher. We need some plug and play players here and there. You can't just win with a bunch of young guys.
Right.
You have to bring in a few guys.
Right,
Right,
and
but-
maybe that'll be Garrett Richards, and maybe it could be Denelson Lamet when he comes off the DL. We don't really know, how he's going to
The
turn out.
IL,
but-
Elon, excuse
Oh,
you.
Stop.
Excuse me.
Stop.
My bad. Sorry.
You could follow the pattern of the Astros, where the Astros, I think in 2015, came out of nowhere, literally made the playoffs with Jose Altuve. Who is this guy?
Right.
Carlos Correa. Who? Dallas Keuchel winning a Cy Young. Then they regressed, realized it, and went out and got some veteran talent. They got
Verlander.
Brian McCann, Verlander mid-season, couple other guys, don't remember them off the top of my head. But you're 100% right, where you can't have sustained success until you bring in a free agent. That's how free agency honestly should work, where you have a young core and you build off of it with signings.
Because I wouldn't even consider Machado a veteran. He's never won anything. He's a phenomenal player.
He's
Yeah.
26.
He made the World Series
Like,
last year,
right.
but that was not him.
No.
The Dodgers were going to the World Series last year with or without Machado.
Right.
He's 26. He played for a crappy team for a really long time that never did anything. And Hosmer is the one guy. Hosmer and Kinsler.
And you can argue for Myers also. He's a guy who I think this season, I think he's gonna surprise a lot of people. You know, he had that one All-Star year in 2016.
Because we were the home team.
We were the home team, but he played well that season, and I think he might actually live up to his contract this year.
But Myers isn't a leader.
He's not a leader. He's not a veteran either. Before he was with us, he played for the Rays.
He was a rookie.
No, he played for the Rays first, and then
Right. He was rookie of the year.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
And they traded him.
Right.
So Myers has never done anything in his career.
Right, but
He won an individual award, and so did a lot of guys on this team. But as a team, they're going to need to come together, and that's why this season again, it's going to be a growing year. I don't expect
Absolutely.
I don't expect we're not going to make the playoffs.
Right. I mean, by some miracle we could, kind of like the Twins a couple of years ago, or the way the A's did last year. But it's not something to bet on. The Padres making the playoffs. It's pretty unlikely, but I'll be super, super happy if they can win 80, 81, maybe 84 games. That might be being a little generous. But they've moved some guys in. Machado, an enormous signing. The entire city of San Diego is super excited about Fernando Tatis. And it's a different feel of this team than we've had in the past couple of years.
Tatis got a louder, in my opinion. I mean, obviously I can't judge sound, but on opening day when they announced starting lineup, he was the guy. Like Machado, incredible, but Tatis, wow, have I never seen Padres fans go that nuts. And when he got his first hit, it was crazy. Jordan, I want to bring you in. Obviously, you didn't have a lot to say about the Padres, not being a Padres fan. What do you think about your hometown Diamondbacks? Just played a series against the Padres, kind of shut them up. Played a great first two games. Zach Greinke went yard twice. Have the Diamondbacks surprised you this year? What do you expect for them this year?
Caleb, I was really bagging on the Diamondbacks this year. I just, as a lifelong Diamondback fan, they're not good in my opinion. They just at the start of the year before the regular season, they just didn't show me any talent that that can get them wins. But with this past series against the Padres, I think they showed some talent to their fans, and I think they proved us wrong. And I think signing Adam Jones to their team was a great signing. Obviously, we traded away Paul Goldschmidt, which was huge in my opinion. I think that was bad, but I think we're a young team also, and we have decent guys, but our pitching's not good. We have Zach Greinke, which is taking up our cap space, and we're just, I don't think we have enough money to get enough players and get a brand new team. I think we're gonna have to go in a rebuilding stage now, and I think we're gonna be the worst team in the division for a while.
The worst team in the division.
Yes,
wow.
I think so.
Worse than the Giants, you think?
Yes.
I still don't understand why they blew it up, because last year they barely missed out on the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The year before they did.
Right.
They were a good team. Goldschmidt, Greinke was bouncing back.
I think it could have been money. You never know for sure in these situations, but Goldschmidt was set to become a free agent after this season.
Right.
Now he's on an extension with the Cardinals, but he was set to become a free agent. I think, I guess they just couldn't get A.J. Pollock back, but I think they just wanted to get what they could out of Goldschmidt rather than have him stick around this year.
Mm-hmm.
I also think they were destined to sit in the basement of that division because the Padres are on the up, the Rockies are on the extreme up. The Rockies are a great team.
Yeah.
They have Arenado locked up, which people thought Arenado was going to leave for a higher market team.
Right.
Rockies are like, nope, we're signing him.
Great signing.
The Giants are atrocious, but I think that the Diamondbacks and the Giants were destined to be at the bottom of this division because the Dodgers aren't going anywhere anytime soon because they have young talent to go with their veteran presence. Padres are on the up. The Rockies are on the up. And the D-backs had no future. The D-backs don't have that young talent.
Yes.
Right. And
I agree.
that's something that they're getting.
Shelby Miller.
Yes.
No, seriously.
Yeah, that is true.
And Greinke,
No, but they depleted their farm system.
They did.
For Miller.
I know.
They traded Dansby Swanson.
Yeah,
It's
Imagine
humble.
trading Dansby Swanson for Shelby Miller.
Sorry, Jordan.
I make fun of that trade all the time. It's a terrible trade, but
No, but it's crazy because look at what Goldschmidt did to the NL Central then.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Because now the Brewers have been unreal start
Yelich
this season.
Yelich is
Everyone had high hopes for the Brewers after last year's
Mhm.
devastating Game 7 NLCS exit. This year they're on the warpath. Yelich has been playing even better than last year.
he is
He's
putting
playing-
up quite the defensive MVP.
Josh Hader is incredible.
Yeah,
The rest of that team their starting pitching is better this year.
it for sure is.
Their whole lineup, I really think the Brewers this year are my NL favorites to go to the World Series.
Yeah, I agree with you. I saw a lot of things saying the Brewers were going to regress. Through 7 or 8 games, whatever it's been, we've seen the opposite. Obviously, it's early April. We
Right.
can't make
We
any
need to put an
judgments.
asterisk on this entire podcast because
Which
it is
is
April.
correct. We're
Fourth.
talking based on what we've seen.
Right,
And
absolutely.
baseball's a game of momentum. You win 7, you lose 7 in a row.
Right.
For sure. I mean, but I think the Brewers are the real deal. I think they have a super talented roster. I think Lorenzo Cain's like the unspoken, MVP of that team. Obviously, Christian Yelich is the MVP of that team, but Lorenzo Cain makes a huge impact. They have so many guys on that team that can do damage. Mike Moustakas,
Travis Shaw,
Travis
Ryan
Shaw
Braun. They
is
signed Yasmani Grandal.
Yep.
Mhm.
Even
That's
Eric
right, they did.
Thames can come in and hit home
Yeah.
runs when he need it. I mean,
Great
they
guy off
have
the
a
bench.
great lineup.
Mhm.
They have a great lineup. Their bullpen's great. Their starting pitching is solid. They're my favorite to make it back to the
Yeah,
World
they can
Series.
make some
Right.
deadline moves
But-
too. You don't know.
Right, for sure. But that division they're in the NL Central is definitely a tight race.
Mhm.
The Cardinals,
Which is
Well-
crazy. It's crazy because you're gonna say tight race. Were you about to bring up the Cubs?
I mean, I was, but not in the best light. They haven't been looking great this season. The Cardinals look good. They have a couple of young arms in their rotation. Jack Flaherty looks really nice. He'll be pitching
Jordan
tomorrow against the
Hicks.
Padres.
Jordan
Jordan
Hicks,
Hicks
yeah.
has one of
Miles Michaelis. This guy came
Yeah.
out of nowhere
Yeah.
from freaking Asia,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like he pitched in Asia. This random guy
He's in-
comes back.
Yeah.
He had a phenomenal year last year.
For
He
sure.
dominated.
Dude, and
That team.
you got Jordan Hicks hitting triple digits on the regular, but I really don't think it's that tough of a division because obviously you have the Cardinals, who are great. You have the Brewers, who are great. We've established that.
Mhm.
The Cubs are a dumpster
they
fire.
Hey,
seem
the
to have
Cubs are
found-
great. If this was 2012, you Darvish, Jose Quintana,
Right.
Cole Hamels, 2012. Here,
Right.
let's dominate this
Yeah.
pitching game.
Dude, they
It's
had
not.
6 errors on national TV against the Braves. That's pathetic.
Their starting
rough.
pitching
I-
sucks.
I really
It
thought
sucks.
it might be a bounce back year for them. Chris Bryant was hurt a lot of last year. I think him being healthy would make a huge difference, and it still might. It's April 4th again,
Right.
But thus far this season, they have not looked good.
Because here's the thing, you need look. We talked about having veteran arms starting. You need 1 or 2. Their entire rotation's veterans, except for Kyle Hendricks. And Hendricks was not good last year.
Right.
Hendricks had a regressed year last year.
They
was not
have
as
Lester, Darvish,
good. Lester,
Quintana.
old. Darvish,
Hamels.
old. Quintana, not
Medium.
too old, but pretty old.
Hamels,
Hamels,
old.
super old. They're in again 2012. They're winning the World Series.
Right.
This rotation's great. Jake Arrieta, they let him walk. He's
Right.
been amazing.
Right.
The rest of the rotation has sucked. Lester's been okay, but he doesn't have the same velocity.
Exactly.
Right.
He doesn't pitch as fast. None of these guys do.
He's old. Yes.
And the Cubs hitting is not where it was. No one really realized the impact that was when Dexter Fowler left,
Mhm.
Yeah.
or when Jake Arrieta left. That's not hitting, but just
Or even David Ross.
Yeah,
David Ross
yeah.
is a team leader.
exactly.
That goes back to the bringing in veteran guys.
Right.
And keeping, they do have their veteran guys on that team. It's just, I think they need more in the lineup too.
And the Cubs, instead of like trying to get better by bringing in young guys, making trades, maybe getting a few prospects, and realizing, all right, we don't need to completely blow it up, but let's trade a couple of these vets, get a couple prospects, and be good again in a couple years.
Right.
Because Rizzo and Bryant aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
Right.
Zobrist is old, Hayward's old, but like they're not the team leaders.
Yeah, Baez isn't going anywhere.
anytime soon. So blow it up a little bit, a semi blow up, a reconstruct,
A retool.
not a rebuild. Exactly.
Right.
Just retool it. Get a couple guys out, bring a couple guys in. You have the money.
Correct.
Go, why are you not signing any free agents? Except for
Yeah.
old guys.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not going to compete against a team that came out of nowhere and dominated you last year.
Right. I mean, I heard them early in the discussion for Bryce Harper, but they kind of fell out of that early.
Yeah.
That could have been something to take advantage of. They have the money to pay a guy like that.
You know, speaking of Harper,
Well, yeah, I agree.
Quite a revenge
Yeah.
game, though.
If you guys listen to previous episodes, I'm a very big detractor of Harper. I'm not a fan of the guy. Pardon my French, I think he's a tool. But no, it's a school podcast. But props to him. You know, if I'm being honest, the Nationals had no right to boo him. Absolutely none. When they didn't win a playoff series
Right.
with him.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree.
Maybe that's why you booed him.
And then ownership proceeded to lowball him in contract.
Ownership offered him $400 million.
It was 10-year, 300, I thought. What Machado got.
Ownership offered him. I'm almost 100% sure. Jordan, please fact check me. I'm pretty sure early on, before he decided to be a free agent, like way back, he was offered a $400 million contract. You guys, Jake, keep going on your point. I'll double check.
But he had quite. You know, at first I was pretty happy because Scherzer struck him out twice, and you hear if you're watching even the broadcast, you hear the cheers in the stadium. It's like they won the World Series, won a playoff series first. Anyway, but he went off. And I wasn't specifically going to talk about Harper, but more the Phillies.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I'm
impressed.
also kind of a skeptic of teams that supposedly win the offseason who bring in all these guys, and the Phillies did that this year with Harper, Segura, McCutchen, Real Muto. Am I missing anyone?
No, I think
Yeah.
you covered it. But
So, I'm skeptical of teams like that, but the Phillies, they look legit.
I think they're winning that division.
Going into the season, I thought it was the Braves.
I think it could be the Phillies too.
I think it's the
The
Phillies.
crazy thing is the Mets are good too.
The Mets are also good.
The Mets pitching staff is unreal.
DeGrom hasn't given up has he? I don't know.
He's had 26
No, he
straight
hasn't.
quality starts.
Incredible.
It's incredible.
He's so good.
I-
when
I-
a guy is
good for the
matching
world,
records set by Bob Gibson,
Yeah.
Bob Gibson, Hall of Fame. No, I mean, Hall of Fame doesn't begin to describe how phenomenal Bob Gibson's career was. When your guy is matching his records, it's difficult to lose games when Jacob deGrom is pitching.
Right.
By the way, I stand corrected. Bryce Harper was offered 10 years, $300 from the Nationals,
Okay.
which, by the way, kind of still beats his offer that he got from the Phillies.
It's the same thing, just longer.
Right.
13,330.
No.
Oh wait, no,
13,330.
I'm
It would
dumb.
be
per year,
13,390.
it's less.
It would be
I'm very
13,390.
I'm
Right.
dumb.
Bryce Harper, and this goes into him being a tool thing. He just wanted the ego of having the biggest contract in baseball, like total money wise.
Yeah.
And then Mike Trout came.
Right.
And then Mike Trout came and shattered him. But no, back to what I was saying about the Mets are a phenomenal team.
The Mets look good. I really like what Brody's done with this team.
Yeah,
Cano is one of the most consistent players in baseball, and he's kept it up.
for sure.
Who else did they get? I'm trying to think. Their prospects that have come up have looked good.
Yep.
Rosario, Jeff McNeil. Don't even need to get started on their rotation.
Pete Alonso.
Pete
also.
Alonso as well came out of
killing it.
nowhere.
Right.
The rotation's
Yeah.
phenomenal. They've brought in great bullpen arms in Jeris Familia and Edwin Diaz,
Absolutely.
and it's a team that looks significantly better than they did last year.
Hey, and he hit a home run. He's one of 5 pitchers ever to hit a home run and throw 14 strikeouts in the
Yep.
same game. Other pitchers in that list: Madison Bumgarner,
Yeah.
Tom Seaver, Bob Gibson, and I'm forgetting the 4th guy, but it's also a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
So 3 Hall of Famers, a future Hall of Famer in DeGrom. And DeGrom's probably, if he
Keeps this up, he will be in the Hall of Fame. No doubt.
Pretty impressive.
To be fair, not taken away from this, it was against the Marlins.
I think
I'm
everything
kidding.
that
Still,
Hey,
happened.
the Marlins are a
regardless-
respectable franchise.
Regardless, that is incredible. Props to Brody, props to
Absolutely.
DeGrom, and props to the Mets. I really like them this year.
I think for me, what's crazy is this is the first time in a couple of years where the NL has really been wide open.
Yeah.
Because for the last couple of years,
It
it's been
really
the
is.
Dodgers, the Cubs.
Right.
Last year, the Brewers. But it was pretty clear who was going to do it.
But the Brewers also kind of came out of nowhere last year.
Yeah.
I'm saying at the end of the year, it became the Brewers
Right,
too.
for sure.
This year, I could see one of 6 teams
Yeah.
possibly going to the World Series. Like I said, the Brewers, the Phillies, the Braves. The Braves have been looking 2
Absolutely.
and 3.
The Cardinals.
The Cardinals, the Dodgers, of course, the Rockies even. And it's funny because it's flip rules. The AL used to be the competitive
Yep.
Right.
league.
Uh-huh.
And now
It's
the
so
AL?
top heavy now. It's the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the
Mm-hmm.
Astros.
Right.
Hey, the
Which,
Red Sox
to
and the
that
Yankees are
point-
at the bottom of their division.
To that
They're
point,
7
exactly.
games.
All,
The Yankees have now lost the series to the Orioles and the Tigers, which is worrisome.
Yeah.
No.
Is it worrisome though?
No.
Is it worrisome?
No.
I don't
No.
think it is.
No.
I don't think it is. They have had some unfortunate injuries, including the one to.
Oh, I was gonna say
the
it's
one-
because of the Yankees, but
There's also and
that
yeah.
part's not unfortunate.
But no, yeah, and Duhar out, speculated out for the year.
Yeah, it's rough.
But what I will say, and Gregorius obviously out,
Right.
been out.
it's a shame.
But what I will say is, I look, the NL. I think some of the performances have been indicative of how the season's gonna play out.
AL, no.
I disagree. I don't care how the Red Sox and
I
Yankees did in
agree.
their first 2 weekends.
They're too
The
talented.
Orioles are still trash.
They're
Yeah.
too.
And the Yankees are
They
still too
have
talented.
too much.
Right.
Both the Yankees and the Red Sox have too much talent on their team, not to bounce back.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. 100%. It's a top heavy league for a reason, and there's no need to go hit the panic button this early.
Correct.
Absolutely,
It's growing
100%.
pains.
It's the media trying to make a
Yeah,
headline.
you're opening the season. The
Right.
Orioles suck. There's nothing you can tell me that proves the Orioles don't suck. And they're gonna suck. And the Blue Jays also trading Pilar. They have nothing now.
That's
Blue Jays
exactly
also
right.
suck. And the Rays are mediocre. I know, Jake, you're really hot on the
I
Rays.
love the Rays.
I'm
But
like an
besides
Irish too.
Blake Snell, I really don't think they have much on that team.
They won 90 games last year.
right.
I'm aware. They also won 90 games and played the Blue Jays and the Orioles a ton.
And the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Fair.
I think they are an underrated team, but it's way too early to make any assumptions
Oh, you're
about this
100%
season
right.
based on what's happened.
You are
so far.
look, this entire podcast could honestly, 2 months from now, be on the freezing cold takes Instagram.
Yeah.
Correct. Of
Right.
course. I think it's just, but this is almost even like a preseason podcast as well, just that the season
Yeah.
hasn't started.
Again, it's April 4th.
My opinions still hold. With the AL, it's between the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Astros, and potentially the A's. I
Yeah,
think
I
the
agree.
A's are really
Yes,
good
the
this
A's
year.
can
I
come
love
out
the
of
A's.
nowhere.
I love the A's.
Yes.
If you watch anything Ramon Laureano does,
Laureano's
he's-
so good.
he makes outfielding like home runs. You know, you love
And he
watching.
hits home runs.
And he hits home
Did
runs.
you see the home run he hit to dead center yesterday?
He hits
It was
home runs.
beautiful.
You watch home runs because of the rush. You like to watch the ball go 400 feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Ramon Laureano does, but without a bat. It's incredible.
He's truly an all-around player. The A's are great. I think the Indians still can compete because of the talent they have, but they have just underwhelmed. After
For
that,
sure.
it went World Series, then they had that crazy win streak, extremely high hopes going into the playoffs, lose that devastating series
Right.
to the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like
They lost to the Yankees, man.
When the Yankees lose, America wins. We all know
When the
this.
Yankees,
Yes.
when the Yankees lose, America wins. Facts.
I mean, I'm not in that clubhouse. I don't know the chemistry or the feel of that team.
It can't feel good.
It can't feel, but I mean, it almost seems like they're okay. They're basically guaranteed a division win, and that's okay.
I
They
think
don't really need to go
Well, also
further than
after
that.
the weird trades this offseason too,
Yeah.
I don't know how it could feel good.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, we're talking about the Cubs like doing a retool. I think the Indians should do that as well. Where I don't think they should blow it up, but clearly they can't really get past anything beyond their division right now.
Right.
And they've got to reconstruct their roster
They
in
have-
such a way they can.
Which
do
is
that.
nuts
They
because
have-
they have one of the top 3 rotations in my
Correct.
opinion.
Oh,
in
for sure.
baseball.
I mean, they have 4 guys in their rotation who won 20 games last year. That's not an easy thing to happen. They have an impressive rotation. They could trade any one of those guys for an outfielder, which their outfield is totally depleted after losing Michael Brantley in the offseason.
Clevenger went
Clevenger.
7 innings, shutout, 7 shutout innings, and got the loss on an unearned run.
It's
Mhm.
rough.
They lost
Yeah.
1-0. He pitched earned run wise 7 shutout innings
It's pathetic.
and got the loss. How give your guy some run support?
Yeah.
That's what the Mets did this year. They tried to improve their offense to give DeGrom that run
Right.
support. The Indians have done nothing. Instead, they've lost run support.
Correct.
Brantley was huge. People don't realize how good Michael Brantley
Right.
was for that team.
Right.
Yeah.
He was a consistent 300 hitter who produced average-wise and could hit for power.
Right.
Encarnacion, Why would you trade a guy that hits 30 home runs a year?
Mhm,
Right.
I agree.
What are you thinking? I don't care who you're getting in return. They got Santana back, right?
Yep.
Who cares?
For sure.
I'm not their GM. I can't pretend to know what's going on. But ultimately, I just can't see them competing. So I think the AL, in my opinion at least, Red Sox, Yankees, Astros, A's, and you have an extremely competitive, exciting young NL this year.
Right.
I agree. 100%.
Right.
And I
agree
think,
too.
I'm going to say it now, I think the World Series winner this year, for the first time in the past couple of years since the Cubs, is going to be from the NL.
Yeah, I think it will be. I mean, it's so early in the season. You have an Astros team where literally 4 guys could win the MVP award this season, and that's not including pitchers. They have I think, a high shot at it.
I think the Red Sox are still better, but
I know
continue.
the Red Sox still, I think, have the best odds, according to Las Vegas. But we have an exciting NL, and hopefully we'll see a showdown in the World Series that's more exciting than the one we saw last year.
Yeah, I can't wait for the rest of the season to play out and to watch some more Padres baseball.
Absolutely.
Really
yes.
exciting. So thank you guys for tuning in to Sports Nerds in the Morning and listening to us talk about the MLB. We'll catch you guys next time. Enjoy your spring breaks, and thank you.
Thanks, guys.